We can go and talk about dolphin information. I'm going to swim with them in a couple of months.
Wow, you do fun things.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank goodness, thank goodness, thank goodness, thank goodness. We're going down to Eilat with Telos, Israel Telos.
I did that, by the way, too.
Yeah, with the dolphins in Eilat.
Yes, and you know, if you want to swim with the dolphins, just a little aside, you have to pay extra. And it was too complicated getting me. You have to put on a special suit, and it was just all too complicated
For you.
For me, and they discouraged me. But what he said, go as close as you can to this special
Thank
region,
you very much. Thank
to
you.
this special area.
Yeah, we go.
Where you swim with the dolphins, and if you go, and they're bordering, they're like neighboring areas. One is public, and one you have to pay more. So I went as close as I could, and I didn't see them, but I started hearing this tremendously loud noise under the water, and it was deafening, which is amazing because you would think under the water the noise would be subdued, but it was tremendous.
No, it's multiply. It's amplifying.
It was an incredibly loud energy, and I was thinking, what is that? And I didn't even. It was so powerful. It was uncomfortable, and I didn't realize until later that there must have been a dolphin quite close to me who was blasting me. It was one of the loudest things I ever heard. And so I got something. I don't know what I got, but it was something special. So.
Okay. Now we'll take a break and have some water.
Okay.
And then, are you willing to do a little experience with me?
You want to do it on the camera? Or not? I don't care.
No. We're being photos. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
I put a larimar on your chest.
Right by the thymus, right?
Right. For a reason.
Why?
It doesn't matter now.
Okay.
For example, let's move the knowledge thing. Would you like to close your eyes?
Yeah, careful.
Take a breath. Take a big breath.
Ah.
Another one.
Ah.
Okay. Now, since visualizing is a good way for you, sure.
Actually, I'm not so great with visualizing.
Now we are. Now
Okay.
we pretend to be wonderful with visualization.
I'm great. Yes.
We are pretending. You know, the Americans have this say of fake it till you make it, right?
Yes.
So like we are faking it that you're very good at visualization.
Okay.
And you take a big breath and you imagine, or you see the picture, or even you just hear my voice saying that you're visiting the beach, the reef in Eilat.
Yes, the dolphin reef.
The dolphin reef. So you are there, sitting very comfortable.
I wasn't sitting. Well, okay. I'm sitting somewhere.
Now you're sitting someplace, very comfortable, and you're just seeing the water and you see the dolphins.
Ah.
And you can imagine how your feet are touching the water, just your feet.
Sure.
Touching the water, and breathe to that.
And what?
And breathe to that. Breathe.
Okay.
Your feet are touching the water.
Ah.
And in your imagination, because it's just me saying things in your heart, you feel it in your heart. The rest of your body is also going into the water. Till your neck. And the water feels very lovely. And you know the dolphins are there, but you don't see them yet. You just know that they are there. Because you're in the dolphin reef, so you know they're there. And you enjoy the water. And you enjoy the touch of the drops of water. And the weather is nice. And somehow front of you. Maybe one or maybe more than one dolphins are coming toward you. You just see them. You don't know if they see you, but you see them. In your eyes, in your vision, or in your knowledge, the dolphins are coming. What I'm asking you to do now is just to breathe and watch them. Just to breathe and watch. And see that it is. See what it is. See who is coming. Who is coming. Just to see. One more. Just to see. Just see who is coming. And breathe. And in a lovely way, you understand that they're inviting you, they or it or he or she or whatever, inviting you to ride them. Just like we see in the movies, to ride the dolphin. You understand it. And you make a swim. And you feel confident. And you're enjoying yourself. And you're hearing their conversation. And you understand the tunes of the information. You understand in your heart. And they swim and they play and you play with them at no fear, everything is okay. You're enjoying it tremendously. And some other friends, some other dolphins are coming by also, not alone. There's the whole group, the whole family are coming. Nourishing, fun. Lots of fun. And and slowly you understand it will be time to go back to shore. Just that you understand it, the dolphin understands it too. You don't have to say anything, it's telepathic. When you feel it's time to go back, the dolphin knows. And they will bring you back to shore. And you will come back to your physical body, feeling good, feeling comfortable, feeling warm, feeling blessed.
Hiya.
Hiya. And when it's time, when it's okay with you, then you open your eyes.
Hiya. Oh, that was very nice.
Okay. What you have here is the dolphin crystal, the lima.
Okay.
Now, we didn't talk much before that, but now I would like to ask you, could you imagine yourself being with the dolphins?
Yes, I could.
With the one dolphin or more?
There was more than one.
There were kids, there were adults, there were families.
It was like a group of them.
Okay.
I didn't notice kids.
Okay. And could you imagine the feeling?
Very nicely, yes.
Okay. So the sentence of I cannot imagine is not relevant.
The what?
That I cannot visualize things. It's irrelevant.
I could imagine.
Okay.
And I could visualize.
And you can visualize, okay. Yeah. Did you feel the stone? Do you feel it?
I feel it very much, yes.
Okay, how does it feel?
It feels smooth and nice. And friendly, and dolphin-like somehow.
It is dolphin-like. By the way, if I would do the same process with you, with a crystal, another one,
yes,
that doesn't go with the throat chakra, it will be disturbing. There would not be. You could visualize what I'm saying because it's an imagination process, but it will not feel as smooth. The smooth thing, the silky smooth.
Yes, it's silky smooth, just like the oceans or
okay.
the water.
But if we would have done this process, which we'll not do, with something that doesn't belong there,
it would bother.
It would bother. You could still see, but it would not feel good. That's the idea of the work with the crystals. We need to know when we do healing with crystals. It's like mathematics. We need to know exactly what we put where. The knowledge could be intuitive.
Yes, sure.
It doesn't have to be a map that you bought from somebody. But it has to be very, very precise. That's why when I do the crystal planning, the ceremonies that I do with the earth planning, that you, just to be precise, you shared one of the times that we do crystal planning at the Kfar Segol. Planting. There's a lot of feeling on my part of the earth, of what needs to go there.
Yes.
It's almost like mathematics. This I feel, this precise for me comes from Atlantis and not from Lemuria.
Speaking of Atlantis,
okay.
I would love you to tell the story about the experience you had when you were doing rebirthing and you saw yourself. What you spoke about once.
I told you that before. Is this one or you want another one? Because I have a few stories.
Well, that was such a good one. I'd like to hear it again.
It was a sad one, but yeah, it's a good one. Okay, so I will say it again. Are you still comfortable with the stone or you want me to remove it?
No.
It is a very...
It's good.
It's Candelari.
I feel more light, more flowing.
By the way, do you know who Judy Keller is?
Yes, I do.
She sings Lemurian.
I have a film with Judy Keller.
Okay, so I want to tell you something about the Larimar with Judy.
Yes.
And then we go into the
Judy Keller channels the most amazing Lemurian singing. I mean, it's all this spontaneous, incredibly powerful and beautiful.
Yeah, she does beautiful work. She's my friend.
Yeah.
And at one time, 4, 5, 6 years ago, we were at some place together.
And I have her on the Tell Us Israel interview. She's there. Yes.
I don't think I saw this interview with her, but she's... she sings Lemurian, okay?
She sings Lemurian.
Right.
I don't interview her, I interview the lady who's the leader of Tell Us.
Tayele.
But then she's Ayala, and then she sings.
So what I want to say about Judy, and the stones that you have here, this Larimar stone, a few years ago, we were at some convention, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I don't remember. And Judy went to the ladies' room and her phone, her cellular, fell into the toilet. So she took it out and she was hysteric because it stopped working, and we took off and we dried and we cleaned and we walked and we put the battery back and it was dead. So what I did, I said, and she was very tense because, being touched with husband, whatever.
Yeah, we need our phones.
Without phone, we lose it. So I took the phone and I took my Larimar that you have there on you, and I put them together. And I'm also Reiki master and so forth. So I sent, and we were sitting, both of us, very, very peacefully, very, very quiet, and we were singing to the phone.
Okay.
With the Larimar.
Judy is miraculous.
Yeah.
So. And you're pretty good yourself.
So with the Reiki,
yes,
and the crystal, and the Larimar, and the singing, my head gets hot. And she said, "Is this going to work? Am I going to get my phone back?" I says, "Yeah, you're going to get your phone back, and it's going to work." And luckily for us, God or whatever, it worked. So this, you can talk to Judy, and she will confirm the story.
I have no need to do that.
No, it's sometimes you tell these things, they sound like weird stories, but they just happen. They just happen. So, Popo Atlantis. Okay.
Yes, that's powerful story.
Okay.
You were doing rebirthing, and there were.
I was doing
rebirthing.
You want to tell the viewers what rebirthing is?
Oh, I know.
They know.
I know that rebirthing is this technique of doing a special type of deep, powerful breathing in water with the intention of what?
Of whatever comes up, first of all, of whatever comes up. So what comes up could be your birth. Whatever comes back, like the first time I did rebirthing process, I had the feeling when I was giving birth to my older daughter, for example. Or you can go into reincarnation times.
Yes.
All kinds of them.
Past
reincarnation, or equal times, other places, whatever. So the rebirthing basically is based on the breathing process.
Right.
Okay. I invented a method with a friend of mine who is a rebirther to have crystal join us in the rebirthing process.
Yes.
So in addition to the breathing, we would have crystal on us, or we will hold crystals, or we will have crystals around us. It's not going into the method of the thing, but it's crystal rebirthing, or rebirthing with crystals. Okay? It could be on land, and it could be in water. And usually we like to do the rebirthing in the Dead Sea because you float. So it's much easier to do it.
And all those crystals, pardon me, all that salt, it's also called the salt sea.
Yeah.
And the salt is a crystal.
Salt is definitely a crystal.
Yeah.
It could melt, but it's a crystal. So at one of the times, sometimes I leave the instructor place and I do for myself. So this was one of these times that I was with a group and I left the instructor place and I did the rebirthing for myself. I was with crystals. It was in the water that particular time, and it's not this time, it's the other time, okay. And the picture that came, the information that came, the recall, if you may, the recall that came is that I was a young, I have to find the word in English.
Priestess?
Priestess.
Yeah.
In a school of becoming a priest in Atlantis.
So you were, in other words, you weren't a priestess yet.
No.
You were a priestess.
I was a student to become one.
A trainee.
A trainee in the school of priestess.
Yes.
Where we were studying crystals and we were studying all kind of spirit work.
Yes.
And we were studying the secrets of the land and of the herbs. And we were studying healing, and we were studying how to do with the crystals healing machines.
Yes.
All kind of things like that we were studying in this school. And I was toward the end of the studying, not in the beginning, but toward the end, toward graduation.
Yes.
And what was unique in this particular reincarnation is that I was considered to be very special, very powerful, appointed to be like the
high priestess.
Not the high priestess, the best in the group.
Yes.
Like, not the high priestess, because then you have to be the priest. But in the group, like חניכה מצטיינת, like the best. Like
the star pupil.
Star pupil, exactly. Star pupil I was supposed to be, and my place with the high priest was secured.
Yeah.
Was known that me and everybody of my teachers, we know that I'm going to be somebody with the. So, but at the time I was not happy. And I started to understand what's going on.
In the society, in the school.
In some of the teachers, in the energy around. where we were talking before, you and I, on Atlantis and Lemuria, and we were talking that things were not pure so far anymore. Things started to go wrong. People were using the power in a wrong way. Okay, and I felt it. It's not something I read in a book. I knew it. I felt it. And this particular rebirthing process, I was a very scared, unhappy student, even though I was very popular, appointed to be the star pupil, and my feeling was that I call this everything okay? And my feeling was that something is wrong, and I didn't know whom to bring this information to. Which one of my teachers I can trust, and which one I cannot trust. Mm-hmm. Who are the good ones, and who are the bad ones? Which one was not working with light anymore?
Yes.
I didn't know, and I was very confused, very frightened. I didn't come up forward to say, wait a minute, I know this is wrong, this is wrong. I already had information, obviously from the crystals, and I didn't come up. It's like in nowadays, you will work in a firm, and you know that there is bad things going on, things, and I'm looking for the words in English. Corruption.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the word, corruption. You see corruption, you know corruption, you know that if you will talk to this particular person, maybe it will help, maybe it will not help, but you're not sure that you can talk to this person because you're not sure if this person is behind the scene also corrupted or not.
Yes.
Like you see in spy movies that you don't know who to trust and so forth. Yes. This is the feeling. And my feeling in this particular time was that I didn't speak up.
Yes.
I didn't say what I thought I knew. I didn't know whom to talk. And eventually, and another thing is, it's not only that I didn't know, I didn't want to lose my position.
Yes.
I was selfish.
Yes.
Maybe greedy is a better word for that. I wanted to be this hungry for power, hungry for recognition, for the star that I was supposed to be, and I was afraid to lose it.
Yes, of course.
So I came out from this particular experience very sad, because I am part of the demolishing, if I can say so.
The destruction
of Atlantis. I'm not the main one.
No.
I'm not taking this whole thing on my back. No. But
you were part of it.
I was part of it merely by being silent. I was not part of the corruption group, but being that I suspected, understood, and known, and said nothing, and I didn't take the chance, I was part of it.
Yes.
And I feel, and this is the connection, I feel I was very sad. I came out of this rebirthing crying like I've never cried before. Really, really crying, feeling very, very sad, feeling very upset at myself, punishing myself. And it was, in that particular workshop, it was complicated because 10 minutes later I had to be back an instructor, and it was such a strong, painful experience. Go explain to people,
Oh, not simple, no.
No, not simple at all. And the thing is that I feel what dawned on me on that happened about, what I'm telling you was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I understood more and more why I'm such a fanatic about the work with the plantation of crystals back on Earth.
The planting of crystals.
Because I feel that after eons and eons of timing, I came to become a crystal person, and I teach crystal, and I cherish crystal, and I work with crystals, and I get the information from them, I recall the information, I help them go back to the land in many, many places. I can tell you many places that I did wonderful work. They did wonderful work.
I'm sure you both did.
Yeah, no, not them, me and the people.
Yes.
You've been one of the two people.
Yes.
Without the people, there's no work.
Yes.
We do it together. This land healing, this earth healing, is our healing also. And I feel that this whole thing developed with me because of these experiences that are coming back in a way. It's like payday for me for the mistakes I have done.
You mean it's your chance to pay back, or to pay it forward, to make good?
To make good.
To make good.
I don't know if it's back or forward, but to make good. To make
Yes.
good is a good. To make good is a good way of saying it. To make good but it's the thing is that I didn't read about crystal planting. It came to me. Planting. Seeding. It came to me. I didn't read about it. I didn't learn it. And it's only after this experience that I told you, and another one, that I understood why am I doing it. All of a sudden, this mission got the reason. And it happened. It happens more and more. Once in the beginning, I used to do maybe one every few months, something like that. Somebody would hear about me and invite me to do it, or I will initiate to do it in public gardens, in hospitals, in university. I would initiate. I would talk to the people, to the headmaster of the place, or in the garden and stuff, and I would buy the crystals, and sometimes Stone Age helped me, and I would even subsidize the money of they cost money.
Yes.
And because it's a must. But it's only after these experiences they understand why am I doing it. Before I didn't understand.
Well, you said there were two experiences. One was the one you just told us.
Yeah, and the other one is the death in Atlantis.
The death.
Yeah.
You mean the destruction?
Yes.
Yes.
My own.
Yes.
And
everybody's.
And the finish, the part that we were no longer existing as what we were. So that was I was doing rebirthing again. I was instructor, I was not breathing the process. I was instructing. I was with the ladies, putting crystals, taking crystals, helping things to come out. You know what's needed in a crystal process. I was doing it, and as I was helping the last person to come out of we were doing it in a salted swimming pool.
Yes.
In one of the hotels in the Salted Sea. And as I was helping the Dead Sea, and as I was helping the last person, we help them because after rebirthing you're not here. So we help you, we put you on a chair, we give you water to drink, we cover you, we do all the nourishing that needs to keep and hold the experience. And after I did all that, to bring myself back to performance, I went into the shower. And I opened the water, and there it was. I died.
You died?
It all collapsed.
You saw your death?
I saw my death. I saw everything sinking. I saw everything closing up like in a coffin. How that's it. There's nothing there.
Yes.
And I was frightened to death. Everybody, that were like 15 people there in the rebirthing, they all woke up from my scream. But everybody's sitting there, with the water, recollecting themselves, coming back. It's hot. Everybody's and
oh my!
And I was so scared.
Whoa!
From the darkness and the ice. Everybody woke up. Later on, they were telling me. So I screamed, and then Later on, you read in books how people see the light and this and that. Like people dying, but they didn't die.
I've read a lot of books about.
Okay, so you read it in books.
Also, there are great films on the internet about it too.
Okay, so that was the experience. After the big fear,
light? You saw, yeah.
No. After the big fear, I didn't see the light, but the dark was very comfortable.
Yes.
I didn't see the light like they say in the movies, or people are saying that. No, yes. But the feeling was very, very, very secure. I was not afraid of death. I was not afraid
because there is no death.
We understand it now, and I work with people who are going to die. You know that?
No,
I tell you that?
No.
Wow, we didn't get into that.
Well, that's great.
We have so much to go into. Maybe we have to
do
it some other time.
We could make a whole series with
that. So, but that particular feeling that I had of pure peace, there was no light. There was void.
Yes.
Okay, that's a better explanation. And that particular feeling of confidence, no fear, after the big fear. This is what's guiding me, and maybe we'll save it for some other time, with the work that I do with people who are
about to make their transition.
Are about to make the transition. This is exactly...
And that's the right phrasing, because we don't die, we just transit. It's a different...
We in Hebrew we say, לסיים את החיים במתכונת הזאת, ולעבור למסע אחר. So in English, it's transformation actually. It's transformation. It's elevation and transformation.
And we've done it many times.
So when I work with people who have cancer disease, or the medicine world is saying that they're near death or whatever, or all kind of disease, doesn't matter. When I work with them, I come from a very, very comfortable place, because I remember a few of them, but I remember my transformation.
Yes.
So that helps, and we do it with the crystals, by the way.
Okay.
Many stories to tell you with people who are, some of them are back with us in the physical place, and some of them are not back with us in this way, but they are back with us in another formation.
You mean some of them have incarnated again, and some of them have not? Or is that what you mean?
Yeah, no, I mean...
Or some of them got better?
Some of them got better.
Okay.
Some of them are incarnated, some of them are visiting in a spiritual way, many ways, but some of them just got better and they're healthy.
Yes.
They came back in
they never left.
They never left.
Yes.
The other ones don't leave either. They just change. They change, so they don't change. So that's that.
Okay.
And whatever.
Tell me the Carmel story.
Okay. 2 years before the Carmel stories. You want to say what the Carmel is?
Well, we had this huge fire in the Carmel forest. Actually, lots of Israel is well forested, and the richest area, one of the richest areas, maybe the most rich area, there was a huge fire, and
it's a big mountain. It's a huge mountain,
and it was very sad for a lot of people. Anyway, it made the news a couple of years ago, all around the world, I think. And they sent us people to help put out the fire from all over the world. People came from Russia, they came.
But also we want to say that there's a part of a sad story in it, because there was a bus of
prisoners, right?
Not prisoners.
Guards. Prison guards.
Not guards. Students to be guards. Students to be guards from a special force. They were toward the end of their 2 years studying.
Yes.
And 44 of them, there was a bus with 45, and 44 of them were killed in that fire. One survival.
Yes. So this This story is connected with the planting of crystals. Correct?
Yeah, this story is connecting with the painting of crystals. I want to say something about information, how it goes around. A couple of years before the fire, I contacted a journalist called Batya Melamed. She's a journalist in Israel.
Okay.
And she writes in a women magazine, and she writes spirits information. She writes very nice things. And me, doing marketing work, I called her a couple of years before the Carmel thing. I called her. I said, look, I do crystal work, I plant crystals, I teach crystals, I do reading with crystals, I teach how to heal with crystals. I was trying to market myself, and that she would write about the crystals. So she was very nice to me, very, very nice, but she said, no thanks, I have enough. And basically that's this phrase that says, don't call us, we'll call you, something like that. Okay. That was 2 years before the fire. Then I did a crystal planting in the Carmel at one of the Jewish holidays. I forgot what holiday it was. And in that planting, it was like a festival from a group called Le Shomra. And they do very nice work, Le Shomra. They do very nice work twice a year, each time in another place. They do things in nature with family, children, grandmothers. Very, very nice things. It's like a festival, but it's very modest. It's not hoo-ha, big noise. Yes, very modest. And they do very nice nature things. This Le Shomra group. Le Shomra means to guard.
Yes.
And actually it's to guard the nature.
Yes.
So in that constellation, they invited me to do crystal planting and seeding at the Carmel Mountain at a particular place called the Fairy Forest. Yarafi, or the Fairy Forest. That's where I did it.
Yes.
So at this particular time, there were some people. Not too many, maybe 30 or 40 people. There were lots of kids, as many adults, twice kids, because usually adults come with their kids. And it was a very fun thing we did a big hole in the ground, and somebody was helping me. And I created a certain mandala. Everybody knows what mandala is, so I created a certain mandala with whatever crystal needed to go down. I had the mandala on a plate, and then all the kids and all the person, we broke the mandala. Everybody took a crystal from the mandala, which you haven't experienced that. You experienced something else. And then we created the mandala back in the land. Me knowing how the mandala was in the first place, I invited who had the orange, who had the brown, who had the green, and we recreated the mandala that was first on the plate. We created it in the land. And even there was a guy, I had some quartz in a certain way, and there was one guy, he had the last one, and he came and says, no, it shouldn't be like that, it should be like that. And me being generous, I said, you want like that? Okay, doesn't have to be exactly how I set it up. It was a very nice ceremony, and then we bring the ground back. And actually, we don't say bury, it's plant. We don't bury, we plant.
Well, they're living things, yes.
They're living things, and we don't bury them. And we sing, and we put our blessings and our meanings and so forth. Maybe 4 months later, here comes the big fire in the Carmel.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there like the rest of Israel, and I'm watching TV, and I'm saying, it's on fire. And that's for a few moments, I lost my faith in my work, in God, in the crystals, in my mission. And I was saying, and the Carmel is next to a city called Haifa, and I'm from Haifa.
Yes.
And when I was young, I was an instructor in youth movements, and we did lots of work in this Carmel area. All my secrets are in the Carmel area. And for some time I was sitting there, And to add to this story, I have to tell you that at the time, one of my students was the head master of the program of what the guard of the prisoners was studying.
Oh wow!
She was one of my, at the time, she was one of my students, and we're talking about almost 2.5 years ago.
Yes, yes.
And all this time when it happened, we were in touch because she was obviously very much involved in all this stuff, and we were talking and we were SMSing what's going on and talking energy and strengthening each other with the drama. It was a big drama with the 44 people who were caught in the fire.
Yeah, it's a real...
big drama. So maybe a couple of days went by and I got a call. And as I was saying, I was feeling very sad. And even though we know in nature that it's okay, we know that it needs the reliving.
Comes back, yeah.
We know it, and we know that
It's
sometimes things have to be burned for other things to come. We know it in head, but
Yes.
still it's sad. And in addition to the drama, we understand, look at them, these are the people, they were the heroes. These people are heroes. They took a mission to do that.
The ones who died.
The ones who transformed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay? So, but anyway, I got a call from Bet Oren, from that place, and they told me to come and see, that I'm not going to believe it. And I came there, and it was, you can still, I can even smell it now, you could still smell in the air the flame, the smell of the fire and of the burned wood. So I very anxiously, I go to the place where we did the planning at the fairy forest, and the look was unbelievable. Like a trapeze shape,
Yes.
huge trapeze shape, everything around is burned except for where we were. Large.
That is amazing.
It's not the
That
end.
is
It's amazing because I was
Wow.
sitting there, I really was flabbergasted. Because you look at this thing, everything is burned. By the way, on the way when you went up to the Carmel, you see trees half burned and half not burned. Not all the trees were demolished, not everything
Yes.
was burned. But to see it in a shape, like a trapeze,
Yes.
with a star shape, amazing.
And
Then I said to myself, for a moment I was very ego-wise and said, oh yeah, sure, the crystals and me, we did the job, we saved the forest. But then you know it's ego. Then you say, wait a minute,
okay.
maybe it's the fairies who saved
For sure
their forest.
They played their big part.
Maybe these crystals helped. Maybe that's God will. You know, you have
All
to
of it.
be modest. After I was very happy, I added my modesty back to the right shape.
You're saying the whole fairy forest was saved, and it's naturally in the shape of a trapezoid or a trap.
It's more than that, but the area that you could see was very. It was not something mushy. It was defined.
It was defined.
It was defined. It was
Yes.
safe. It was guarded.
Isn't that amazing?
That's why I'm saying the crystals, the fairies. It's not really. It's not about.
No,
me.
it's all you together, but you
But
certainly played a big part. No
Two
doubt.
things happened after that. I got a call from this reporter.
Yes.
I heard that you did this and that. I
Yes.
says, you know what? 2 years ago, I was quoting you to write about it,
Yes.
but you thought it was not special.
Yes.
She goes, okay, now seeds had ripened. You know how we say the seeds
Yeah.
had ripened to
Yeah,
have this
yeah.
article. And she did a wonderful article.
Yeah.
Not about me, about the work of the
I
crystals.
bet.
Of course, about my work with the crystals. And since then, which is like 2.5 years ago, the information is out. So I get more and more invitations
Easy, Yofi. How
to
nice.
come and do this work, and in a mysterious way, like with the MPH, the group that you were.
Yeah.
1.5 years ago, we were in Jerusalem, and we did a plantation of the crystal in the Har HaZeitim.
The Mountain of Olives.
The Mountain of Olives. And more place, I did something like maybe 50 in the last few years.
Whoa.
And the more the better. So in the end, I want to give a little explanation of how people can do it themselves.
Yes,
Is it a good idea?
We'll do that.
Okay.
I'd just like to say a couple of things.
Okay.
We have a mutual friend. I think you know Ofra. Do you know Ofra Ben Shitrit?
Yes, she's in Australia now or something.
Oh, she's traveling the world.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We were together at Rujum El Riri.
Okay. Which is our version of Stonehenge.
Yeah.
An ancient stone complex here in the Golan. Anyway, she's in contact with a famous English channeler whose name escapes me. But Gisela works with this English channeler.
Okay.
And he's channeled Maitreya or the Christ about the importance of planting a Mogen David from rubies. You know, you don't need all that many rubies. A Mogen David is a Star of David. And planting that in the ground. And we did that together. Well, Oprah came and did it.
Wow.
And so she did this. So I don't know. I wonder if you know about the value of this particular geometry, Star of David with rubies.
No.
Okay.
No. So now I know.
Okay.
But I want to say that the ruby itself,
yes,
the shape of the ruby itself is a sort of ectodron.
A what?
Ectagon.
Okay.
Has like eight. And the ruby itself is one. The ruby, in Hebrew, Odem, it goes with one of the tribes, the Reuven tribe.
The Reuven. Yes.
Tribe. And we say in the Bible, Vaychyu Reuven, and Reuven would live. Ruby is considered to be talking about the cycle of life.
Okay.
Okay? Health, reborn. Also with Ruby we do reincarnation work because of that.
Okay.
And I can understand, I don't know this information, but I can, first of all, all of our planting and seeding crystal will come in a geometrical form.
Yes,
all of them. Even if, like where you were, when we did it Far Segol, we did it in a round shape around the Merkava, which is twice Magen David.
Yes.
Okay? So the idea was to put each person, if you remember, put two.
Yes, yes.
Around, and we created a circle around the Merkava, which is few Magen Davids.
Yes.
Okay? And so I don't know that particular information, but it makes sense because Ruby is to relive, and Magen David is protection. And Magen David is a symbol not only in the Star of David is in all over symbols.
It was in Atlantis in ancient Egypt, all over.
So it makes a beautiful sense. When I do the planting, there will always be some kind of energy works in the geometrical, because it's what it does. It multiplies the energy fields.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So that's a nice work.
Yes. Also, I've been a fan of the Crimson Circle. It's like Cryon. They were channeling. For many years, it was a man named Jeffrey Hoppe channeling Tobias, and now he's channeling Saint Germain, because Tobias is incarnated. You could all Google Crimson Circle.
Yeah.
It's a very famous channeled site. And Tobias once talked about the land of Israel. He said, or the Holy Land.
Yeah.
He says that even before the Moria, crystals were planted in this land. because this place has very, very special purpose. Obviously it does, because so much history happens and still happens right here.
In Israel.
And all the attention of the world is always right here.
Mm-hmm.
And that it became to be called the Holy Land for three great religions. And these things are not by accident. He talked about Tobias, about how, like way at the beginning, very, very special things were planted in this land, which makes sense. And the Keys of Enoch talks about connections between crystalline connections and copper connections between Israel and the Great Pyramid, and talks about the Megiddo from the word Armageddon. It's connected to a real place called Megiddo, which was an ancient city.
I have to tell you something.
What?
Sorry.
Sorry
for interrupting.
No, but I want to hear.
First of all, lots of the books and the names that you mentioned, I know the names. I haven't read. Lots of my work is coming up.
I know.
And when I finally read the book, I say,
"What?"
Now, what's amazing at this moment that you're talking about Megiddo? Why? Because last week I went to Megiddo.
Yes.
With a friend called Hannah Israeli Noy.
Yes.
And we did a little planning of crystal. I'll show it to you. It's on my phone. I'll show it to you in a second. You find it. It's amazing because I was there.
No, but keep telling your story.
Yeah. And we decided, we have to find the picture. And we decided that April 19th, we got this date as an important date.
Yes.
We are going to Megiddo. And we're going to make piecework. I show it to the camera.
I guess so.
This is what we planned to start with in Megiddo. So this is only the beginning. We seeded because on April 19th we're going to bring a big group, whoever will feel that it's calling for them.
Yes.
Because in Megiddo, 25 times this place was destroyed.
Yeah.
And lots of war. It's a war zone. It was a war zone.
Everything here has been a war zone.
Okay, so in Megiddo,
more than anything,
we decided that we are going to work there and do with whoever people will come a big crystal planting. And you're telling me about Megiddo, you see, and you have no idea that.
Apparently, according to the Keys of Enoch, Megiddo is very, very important, and it's linked to the Great Pyramid, and the Great Pyramid is very, very important.
And there is a fountain there, Mayan. How do you say Mayan?
A fountain.
A fountain of water, and we planted there crystals also. In Megiddo, you go down the stairs.
Yes.
And there's the fountain there. And that's where we plant crystals too. Why did we start talking about that?
I talked about the crystals that are in this part of the world, in Israel, and how, according to Tobias and the Keys of Enoch, there are very many important things planted here that were planted a long, long, long time ago.
And what I feel, and today I know. But when I started doing that, I didn't know all this information. It's just a recall.
Yes.
It was just like, I gotta do it.
Yes.
I have to do it. Why? Don't know.
Yes.
And with time, the signs are coming. And I understand things.
Yes.
Now, for example, I have no idea why we're going to Megiddo. Only that we know that we need to do piecework there.
Yes. This is a key area. This is where the end of the world was supposed to begin, according to the biblical prophecy. But that prophecy already, we've chosen another path. And we're not going to see the Armageddon because we've chosen.
So we're going to make a peace process there with the crystals.
Amazing. And, okay. So
that was that.
What?
So that was the. By the way, going back to the Carmel for one moment.
Yes.
I told you that one of my students was involved in that.
Yes. She
And
trained the guards.
She didn't train. She was she was a big officer in
Yes.
but she was in charge on the program that they studied.
Yes.
And we did it a year later. We went with 4 ladies from this force who had things to do with one of the survivors also. We went
the
back.
only survivor.
What?
You said there was one survivor.
Yeah, with her and 3 other ladies from this particular force, and we did a relieving experience with the crystal there.
A relieving? What do you mean a relieving?
Because they were holding very bad feelings about this
crystals.
drama. No, the ladies.
Oh, the ladies. Okay.
Because of the
what happened?
people who died.
Yeah.
So a year later, they're making like an official Memorial Day.
Yes.
And we went not as an official memorial. We went to clean
Yes.
their feelings, their pain.
Yes.
And we did it with planting crystals.
Okay.
So that's another thing I wanted to say about the Carmel Mountain.
To clear the feelings of who? Of the people left behind. The people who...
Both ways.
Both ways. The people who passed.
The
and
people who passed,
left
that the
behind.
energy is there. The energy is very strong there.
Yeah, for sure.
And the people who are here, some of the ladies, 2 of them, really feel them, are also in contact with them.
Yes.
But that's another story that they work with. And another thing about the burning of the Carmel that I want to say is that a month after the burn,
Yes.
all kind of, Shomrei Agan, who are Shomrei Agan, all kind of people, shamans, people who do nature work,
Yes.
got together. No news, no television, just spread of mouth, we say. The
Word of mouth.
word of mouth, little internet. About 400 people came,
Whoa.
and we did little fires and all over the Carmel with people, with seeding crystals, because the fire symbolized, we were understanding that the fire that went on there is also our own fire that went out of control. So we did a earth healing.
Yes.
We did one big fire, and each shaman took flame from the fire and crystals, and we went to the different groups, and we did re-healing to the land, re-healing to the trees, re-healing for us, for our inner fire, to balance ourselves. And it was a very nice experience that I didn't manage it. I was part of it with the crystals, and it was a very special experience.
I'm sure it was.
To bring health back to the land and to us. It's always mutual.
Yes, of course. That would be totally mutual. Riki, how do you do the planting?
How they do the planting.
Yes, tell our audience
Okay.
how to go about it.
First of all, see if you like the idea of planting. See that we're not talking about burying. We don't bury the crystals. We're bringing them back to earth. They came from earth, and we're bringing them back to earth. So let's say in your backyard, you feel the earth, you grow things in your backyard. It could be your backyard, it could be the school where the kids are, it could be if you work in a hospital where there are many people. Earth. We need to have the land, we need to have the earth. And then you can, what I do, and some of you that feel things, you can feel what kind of crystals this land needs to go back. If you don't feel what kind of crystals the land needs, look at your crystals. They don't have to be these big ones. It could be the little small crystals.
Yes.
Even this size of thumb.
Yes.
Little crystals. think of look at your crystals and think which one of them will be nice that you're willing to let go. Because planning crystals, part of it is our willing to let go of something that we have. Because to plan the crystals, instead of having them in my living room, I'm letting go of something. I'm giving back.
Yes.
So see what of your crystals you're willing to let go. And then maybe sit with your higher guidance or higher inspiration and see what shape. Paint it.
Yes.
Like what kind of shape needs to go down. It could be a mandala. It could be a spirala. It could be Star of David. It could be any kind of a geometric form. I want to show the camera one thing that we did also. By the way, in my website, there's many pictures of mandalas and things as they go down on earth. So back to us, form a shape, whatever feels comfortable for you, whatever guidance you got. Maybe you can look in books and copy some kind of a geometrical shape, whatever feels right for you. And then you have many ways to do it, but the simple one is to create, how do you say a hole in the earth?
A hole in the earth.
A hole in the earth. You carve the ground, you put aside, you put the shape of the crystals that you want in the formation that you want. And while you're planting the crystals, in your mind and in your heart, make a connection to your wishes, for your prayers. Thank the crystals for being with you so far. Wish them a good journey because they're going to meet the ancestors.
Yes.
So it's like a ceremony. Use it as a ceremony. Work at it as a ceremony. You can do it with yourself. You can do it with your family and friends. You can do it in forest. You can do it in formation shape like I suggested. Or you could just take crystals and put next to a tree. Hug a tree and put a crystal in the tree and hug it and bless the tree and bless yourself and bless the life and bless the crystals. And the crystal will be there with the tree. And maybe some other time somebody will sit by this tree and all of a sudden he will see this crystal coming out of the tree.
And maybe it'll be you in a different form.
Yeah, definitely.
I've also...
Anyway, this is, your name is Eliyahu Holy. The work with the crystals is very sacred. It's very holy.
It's Holly, actually.
For me it's holy. No, you see you have a holy name and you moved it to Holly, but it's a holy name.
I guess so, I don't know.
But the work with them is very holy. It's very sacred. It's very special. So not to do it like this. To do it with intention. To do it with love. To do it with... whether you have knowledge or not. You can always contact me and get the knowledge. But even if you don't have knowledge, feel. Feel what is true. That's how you can do your own crystal planning. You can write letters, for example, love, of crystals, and plan it. You can do whatever your heart desires. So that's a little tip for our audience for today.
Thank you, Riki.
Of how they can do their own planting.
How can people contact you, Riki?
People can contact me, first of all, very simple, by my website.
Which is in Hebrew, I guess.
No? But no, wait a minute. It gets better. It's translated. So my website is in Hebrew, but when you press the translator, it translates into English.
Okay, very good.
And I know it why, because when I was in Mount Shasta I was with one of my friends, and we went into my website and we translated it, and it comes out beautiful. Sometimes the words, the translation, but all the pictures are there, and the translation, and on the earth planning, there's lots of information there.
Planting.
on the planting, on the
Yes.
seeding, planting,
Yes.
not bearing, saying planting, seeding, connecting, reconnecting with the crystals that are all there anyway, and with the crystal. You see, it's a connection with the crystals that are there, with the earth, and we have to do it because we are overusing the land. So we need to give the land
Yes.
its strength back,
Absolutely.
and for ourselves. So it's a mutual thing. We strengthen the earth, we give healing to the earth, we give healing to ourselves.
Yes.
So my website is www.rikiy.co.il.
Okay.
That's my website.
Very
So
good.
it's, all the information is there. What you can do when you didn't do it. You didn't go into my website
No,
yet.
because I thought Hebrew and
I see. So you can translate it.
Yes.
I have a very sweet thing in my website that you can put your date of birth, and you will get an information, an internet information about your crystal potential, like a sign, like how do you say it in English when you are born in a sign?
Well, an astrological.
So we do the same with crystals.
What do you mean? You mean you could tell us what our crystals are?
Yeah.
What and how they?
But I'm talking about potential.
What crystals potentially can help us? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. No. On your particular date of birth,
Yes.
or your astrological chart, like for example, I'm Pisces.
Yes.
Okay? So Pisces, by the way, would have many crystals.
Yes.
I pick one.
Yes.
Out of the many, not the 6,600 different kind of crystals. Of
Yeah.
course, we're not talking about all of them. But out of the map that we have on potential crystals for the Pisces, I would pick, for example, the amethyst.
Yes.
And I will tell you information about the potential for you, particular with the amethyst. You can get one information, I can get another information from the same stone, by the way.
Yes, of course.
Because I told you, 60% is...
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that I developed because I used to be in computers before, so I'm
So all they have to do is give their birthday.
Yeah.
Okay. You fit?
I have to check to see if it works. The website for sure works in English. I have to see, maximum they'll get it in Hebrew and they have it translated. I didn't get that far yet. But the website for sure is in English. The birth, I'm not sure. I have to check it. Thank you for telling me.
Okay, Ricky, and I was wondering if you might want to share something. First of all, I'd like to do the technique that for connecting with crystals, the balancing that you did on the previous show, because that was great. And might you want to share something about your Mount Shasta experience in Lemuria? And maybe we would close with one of those.
With the Mount Shasta, I went because of big curiosity. I think I know everything I need to know about Atlantis, but that's not true, because each time I go to visit Atlantic, I get more information.
What do you mean, go to visit?
In
your mental,
my mental
spiritual,
heart, spiritual,
body.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I take my dolphin, or I take my airplane, or
Yes.
I take my Merkava,
Yes,
or I
okay.
take my bird, or I take my submarine,
Yes.
and I'm there.
All right, I believe it.
And when I'm there, I do work. I go
believe
to
it,
certain place. I go to certain laboratories, and this is a whole conversation. But
Ooh.
I know exactly what I'm doing with Atlantic. I teach, by the way, Atlantis information,
Okay.
but surely each time I visit, it's like you go to Jerusalem. You don't go always to the same place. You go sometimes here and sometimes there, and you visit more places. So it's the same for me with Atlantis. So
Yes.
each time I go, I visit, another information will come up many times about the stones that I even never have, or things I need to do. So about Atlantis, I'm okay.
Yes.
And I'm also okay understanding what I talked before, that I was a bit greedy and a bit not.
You were a human.
I was human. I'm human in this formation also.
You're still human.
I'm still human, and thank God. And but understand what I'm doing then.
Yes.
And when I started to hear the Lemurian information, not to read, by the way, I didn't read anything about Mount Shasta. I didn't read the books. Louise, what's her name?
Louise Jones.
Louise Jones. I didn't read the books.
Aurelia Jones. Aurelia Louise Jones.
Aurelia Louise Jones, yeah.
Yes.
I decided to go on Mount Shasta knowing nothing.
Tabula Rasa.
Tabula Rasa.
Yes.
Didn't read any book. Didn't want to read any book. Wanted to come like this.
Yes.
Basically, knowing nothing about Telos, knowing nothing about Mount Shasta, knowing nothing about Lemuria. I know about Lemuria because
Yes.
I know, but I didn't feel Lemurian. Okay? Like Ayelet, for example, from Telos Israel.
Who I interviewed.
So who you interviewed, and she's channeling the Akohen Adama. And she's Lemurian. She knows she's Lemurian. The way she knows she's Lemurian, I know I'm Atlantis. But more and more I meet, and more I do crystal planning, and more I hear about Mount Shasta. It got me curious, and more I hear experiences of the people who came back.
Yes.
I was curious because I work with people who are in transformation. I heard that in Mount Shasta you can meet them.
Yes.
So I was curious to meet the people who I was...
People who passed on, you mean?
People who passed on, who I was guiding them through the end in this particular physical form.
Yes.
So I was curious about that. Mind you, I lived in the United States in the 70s, and that's where it started, this Mount Shasta thing. To go to Talos. It was in the early 70s. It was the flower people and the awakening.
Yes.
But for me, working in a bank in 1970, only weirdos are going to Mount Shasta.
You bet.
Normal people are not going to Mount Shasta.
Of course.
Okay? So for me, this trip was going back, first of all, to my origins for the time that I used to live in the United States, visit all kinds, and closing circles with all kind of things. And in the mountain itself, my mission for myself was, it was not that spiritual, it was to work on my relationship with myself, with my husband, with my mother. It was not my daughters, with them is okay, and not with my students, and not with my work that I'm very sure of myself, of the work that I do. I learn more, I develop more, I learn things that I didn't know. But this path, my mission to serve with the crystal is very clear to me. So I went to do some kind of domain work, nothing special, not to see the angels and things like that. I went to meet this origin. So that was my reason to go to Mount Shasta. And you would hear from many people, Eliyahu, that your life is divided till the time you were in Mount Shasta and from the time you were in Mount Shasta.
Yes.
Because things happen depending on your openness for things.
Yes.
My big work in Mount Shasta was actually not with the crystals. Of course, I was the crystal master, and everybody in the group asked me about the crystals, and I was giving crystals. איך אומרים חניכה in English? Initiation. I was doing crystal initiation with the generatory, with the generators. I did initiation. Of course, my knowledge was there, and this and that. But my Mount Shasta experience is me. Is particular things that I need to change in me. The people I actually met, some of the people that I guided before.
The people who passed on.
People passed on.
So you did meet some.
I met.
Yes.
The two that I was looking for, I met. And in a way it was very funny because all my friends saw Saint Germain and they saw this and they saw the light and they saw the high priest, and I saw only the people that I knew. But they were very guiding to me.
Yes.
Not bad. And they were very guiding to me. They gave me particular, specific instructions of where to look, what to do, and it was a big, big blessing. So I'm not feeling that I missed something that Saint Germain didn't talk to me.
No, I'm sure he is talking to you.
Okay, but I got the information.
Whether you know it or not.
Of course,
Yeah.
but for me it was more vivid, more with like what I was open to see, except for a few experiences with the Venetian Paul, you know.
Paul the Venetian, who is the Kohan, the high priest of the Rosary.
Yes, so him I met. And whoa, it was...
And he was a Renaissance artist.
It was a big whoa. So that even now I feel it. Him I met. Because it's the pink and it's the love ray. So him I met in a very... Not only me, but with a friend of mine together.
Wow.
And we saw the same thing. We sensed the same thing. It was flabbergasting experience.
You betcha, I bet.
Yeah, so Mount Shasta for me was to know that before Atlantis there was Lemuria.
Yes.
And for me it was to understand that I didn't, at the time, I still have places to develop myself into. But at the time I just didn't know, didn't recall, didn't feel, didn't remember, call it as you like, about my Lemurian origins. But obviously I arrived to Atlantis from someplace.
Yes, indeed.
So when you understand that, or when you feel that, and I can understand why I'm a technical person.
Yes.
My formal education is very technical.
Yes.
My master degrees in technical things.
Yes.
And I can see why I joined very fast and quick. I'm working with crystals only 12 years, awakening about 17 years since I started searching, doing Master Reiki and things like that. So I understand why it's very easy for me to relate to Atlantis.
Yes.
Because it comes from the mind.
Yes.
It comes for the technical. Even though it was very spiritual, it's not that it was not. Still, my visit to Atlantis are very spiritual.
Yes, okay.
Very, but I can understand why this came up in my doing, feeling, guiding, and not Lemuria. But still, you know, I'm young.
And yes, you are.
So,
and Lemuria is coming up now, isn't it?
It is coming up. It is coming up. It came for me, by the way, in a funny way. I told you most of the work that I did was with the wood in Lemuria.
Yes.
I worked in the forests. And when I think about it in a logical way, I got to this, and then I started working with the crystals.
Yes.
If you remember the story. When I was in Mount Shasta, I did lots of work. First of all, we came through the Sequoia. We were a few days in the Sequoia before we went to Mount Shasta.
The giant redwoods.
The giant redwoods, exactly. I was there.
The ancient redwoods.
So we did lots of. I was in a group with few girlfriends that we were all going to Teros, but we decided if we're already there to add the giant redwoods. So already there on the way, 5-6 days. We saw the Indians, we saw the information, and so it was sort of a continuing experience for me in the wood. The woods talked to me.
Wow.
Yes.
And Lemuria was about wood.
For me,
for you.
in this particular time,
yes.
Lemuria was knowledge that I have about the crystals. This is this. And this, what I've been doing for the last 12 years.
Atlantis
Atlantis knowledge to the group that was with me.
Yes.
And a little ego, I must say, because to buy it, not to buy it, what to buy, feel free, buy. By the way, good prices.
I'm sure.
Because they're very close to Sedona, and it's not like in Israel you have to import and all this stuff. So whoever is going to Mount Shasta, I'm telling you, except for a few stores, the prices are very nice.
Okay.
So there was the knowledge from the crystals, but my private experience was with the wood, the woodwork. I communicate with the wood, I channel the wood.
Okay.
I got information from the wood and the, how do you call it?
You mean the trees?
Of course, the trees.
Not petrified,
not petrified trees, but real trees.
Living trees.
Living trees, and things that fell off the trees, you know. It's strubal or things. I talk to nature.
Pine cones, yes.
Pine cones, yeah. I talk to nature. Nature talk to me. We communicated very nicely. The crystals were there. I can show you pictures that I did with the crystals and the wood and the people who talk to me, or the energy that talk to me, not people, energy that talk to me. So that's an important information. And also, one of my friends wanted to come with me to Mount Shasta, and her husband suggested that she doesn't come, they will go together. He died, they arrived to Mount Shasta.
Wow.
And that was a very weird experience, sad experience.
Yes.
He died the day that I was arriving Mount Shasta in the morning, and we were together the whole time. We were communicating. He's not the one that I went to communicate with, but his energy came. So, by the way, his wife, my friend, is now, a year later, next week she's going to Mount Shasta.
Wow.
With the kids. With his energy. So you know, it's circles all the time. So that was that.
Okay.
Many stories, but for now
you should write a book. You should really write a book.
Yeah. You know, I want to write a book on the crystal planting.
Planting.
Thank you. Crystal planting. I want to teach people how to do it. I want to teach people how to use their own energy and their own ideas how to do it. So like the book will be a base, and from there people could do whatever idea they have.
Well, I don't think such a book exists.
No.
So I would think it would be very important.
Yeah. They have to bring the time to it, and of course I have not all, but I have many pictures of works that we already done, so it could be a start. No, there is no such book. No. I have to give credit, by the way. Maybe it's right to do so. I didn't invent it. What I'm doing, I invented, but the idea of planting crystals, I didn't invent it.
Okay.
It came in a very interesting way through a student of mine.
Okay.
So this student of mine once told me about, did you hear about the lady bearing crystals? I said, I've never heard about anything bearing crystals. That was in the morning.
Bearing.
A student of mine asked me if I heard about this woman who came from England to bury crystals.
I think I may know her.
Caroline Amira Windheim. That's her
name.
name.
I don't know her. No.
Her name is Caroline Amira Windheim.
Yes.
And that was in the morning, and at noontime I got a brochure in the mail telling that there is this healer from England, Sally Riedman from Riedman Industry College. Riedman College brought her to Israel.
Yes.
And I read that this is what this lady is doing, but everything was cancelled because it was what war? It was a war. 7 years ago was one of the wars. What was 7 years ago? It was one of the wars, and all the big masters of the universe were gold kind of gurus, also Emoto and Deepak Chopra and all these kinds of very famous people were supposed to come, and they canceled. There was supposed to be a big event in the Kinneret, maybe you want to tell the audience what the Kinneret is, but there was a
the
big
lake.
it's a lake, the Kinneret Lake, a big event, and nobody
the
came.
Sea of Galilee, yes.
Yes, Sea of Galilee, and nobody came because of this particular war that we had 7 years. מלחמת המפרץ.
The Gulf, one of the Gulf.
The second Gulf.
Second Gulf.
And only this lady arrived, so they cancelled everything because nobody came and nobody was leaving the house and nobody was going up north because there was a war. So there was a little thing that this lady is making a little in a place. And I went there and there were 5 people. But she was there for me.
Yes, she was, wasn't she?
She was there for me. I listened to her. At the end of the evening, she gave me her things because she used to, Caroline Amira Windheim, she used to do her things in a very precise, her geometrical shape. And she had like a thread and a big needle, and she used to do. At the end of the evening, she gave it to me. She says, "It's yours." And I got very excited. I went home. It took me 3 days to find her, where she was living in Israel while she was visiting. It was a funny way because I called Sally Riedman, who I didn't know, but I understood that she bought her. So,
yes.
And it's a very funny way how they met, but that's for a different story. And I found her. It took me 2 days to find her, and I said, "You're here. Everything is cancelled. We want to do a planting crystal work with you." And she says, "Okay." How she said it? "What took you so long?" And she was such a nice lady. She's an elderly lady. So we went to Stone Age. We picked stones. I found a place that was willing to do this experience, and we did it. A good friend of mine, teacher of mine, Tal Moses, you know her? She also has a place, crystal healing school. And she got very excited. She says, yeah, let's do it on my farm. It's in the Kfar Yarok, it's a village. And I had an interest to do it because my daughter was living there. You know, it all gets connected in the end. And what happened since then is that the calling, it's if she, in my opinion, because I was in touch with her a few years later, she came back to Israel and she came to see what I'm doing. And in my opinion, she came, in my private little opinion, she came to Israel so I can find her, so she can say, go for it. And I had no idea what I was doing in the beginning. I still have no idea what I'm doing, but obviously I'm doing something right.
I think that's probably right. Let's wrap it up with what you taught for the previous audience.
Okay. So what we do, you're welcome to take any kind of crystal that you have at home. Surely, if you had listened to this program on crystals, you must have a crystal. So take one of your crystals. Maybe a generator would be best, but if not, any kind of crystal that you have. It should not be too big. It should be something that you can hold like this in your hand. Okay? And I don't remember what you're talking about it, but something will come up. I have no idea.
You balanced it. First you held it on your heart.
Yeah, you have so many. We're going to do a balance. I don't remember what I did, but we will do a balancing. The idea is to do a balance, recall for us, for my physical body, for my emotional body, for my mind, my intelligence, and my spiritual body. I want to put all our 4 bodies together. That's the idea. So we take the crystal, if it's a generator, okay, if not, something that's good in the size of your hand. And the first thing I do is I look at it and I say thank you for helping me to go through this balance of all my bodies, all my energies. Then I suggest we put it on our heart and we breathe. We close our eyes and we breathe. Just listen to my explanation. So take a big breath. In order to do it right, I'm going into a meditation also. So I will close my eyes. You can close your eyes also and just listen, or you can watch if you just need a little guide of how to do it. So the first thing, I will connect the crystal with my heart. I will breathe. I will make sure that I'm in the right posture, that I'm comfortable. I will make sure that all my parts are with me and feeling okay. I will breathe. And I will connect. I will feel the contact from my heart, from my heartbeat to the crystal. This will be our first connection. Then I suggest that we take the crystal to our left hand, and from our heart, where the crystal was before, we will send a ray to our left hand till it reaches the crystal, and we do the
balance.
We do the balance, thank you. We do the balance. We have a crystal on one hand, on the left hand. On the other hand, we don't have a crystal. But we send the beam from our heart to our left hand. So we move our hands a little bit till we feel it balanced, till it's equal, till it feels okay. And we breathe to the balanced part of our left side. And we breathe to that. Thank you. And we bring the crystal back to our heart. By the way, if you don't have a crystal, or if you're unable to do it physically, you imagine that you're doing it. So we are bringing back the crystal to our heart. We're connecting back our left side to our heart, and we breathe. Another one. Then we take the crystal to our right hand. We put forward to our side the left hand. From our heart we send a beam of light to our right hand, and we start searching for the balance. We start searching for the balance by moving the hands. Now we balance our right hand, our right side. Of course it's our hand, but it's symbolizing our entire right side. And we bring the stone, the crystal, back to our heart. We breathe. We have connection between our heart to our left side, between our heart to our right side. We breathe. We take the crystal and we point it down toward our base chakra. We just point it down. We send energy from our heart to our base chakra. We forward the beam of light to the land, and we let the beam of light go further and further, deeper and deeper to the center of Earth. This is where we are connecting our heart with the center of Earth. We breathe. We feel the connection. We bring the crystal back to our heart. We breathe. And now we will point the crystal up. From our heart the energy is going up. The ray, the beam of light is going up to our upper us, to our guides, to our angels, to our God,
to our higher self,
to our higher self, to our inner self and higher self. We breathe. We bring the crystal back to our heart. And in our heart we feel the love. We feel how our entire left side is together with us in our lotus heart. We feel how our entire right side is together joining with our left side in our lotus heart, in our love. We bring the earth into our heart. We bring our higher self into our heart. And now what we will do is we will take the crystal and we will turn it around in our heart. What we're doing is we are allowing our heart to open. We like a opposite the clock movement.
Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise, thank you very much. We are physically actually turning the crystal, if we're unable to do it physically, so we do it in our mind, in our conscience. And basically, when we do it counterclockwise, we are doing elation work. We are hiring ourselves. We are awakening parts that needs to be awakened. We are sending a message of unconditional love, and we're doing all that by a spiral movement. We take a breath. One last thing that I suggest we do, we bring the crystal in our body to our base chakra between our 2 feet. We straighten our back, we sit straight, our head is straight forward, our eyes are still closed, and from the base we are starting to make spiral movements. You can glance and see what I'm doing now. In a spiral movement, we like take the energy from down, from earth, to our elation. And actually what we do by doing that, and we send it upwards, we clear the chakras. And we do the connection. And maybe when we are at the throat, we can clean a little bit there also. And we do the spiral. And then we can crown ourselves. We do like a crown or spiral connection to our higher self. We bring the crystal back to our heart. We put our 2 hands. We listen to our heart. We breathe. And we say thank you for our dear Lord who are guarding us, for our angels who are guarding us, for the crystals who are guiding us. And thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
very much. Thank you all.